Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Inspired by Miss Rainbow Red. I am here today with Tania and Sasha.
Hey.
And myself. Today we're going to talk about finding your voice. As an artist, it can be hard sometimes.
Yes. Tania never had that problem, though.
So how'd you find your voice today?
Oh, man. I think this is a good topic because even though as much as easy as we think it is sometimes, it is kind of difficult. But I think when it comes to us and being permanent makeup artists, and I feel like if you don't also have to be a complete expert, but if you know what you're talking about, you should have no problem finding your voice and telling your clients what's up.
Yeah, because they're coming to you for a reason.
Yeah, no matter what, if you're a permanent makeup artist or I don't know, teacher, whatever, any sort of profession you have the certain skill set, and somebody's coming to you, you should have no problem, directing them the right way. Yep. Or sometimes shutting things down, or sometimes turning clients away. I know it sucks, but it's much better to just turn them away, or just say no, or just tell them right up front the things that could happen, rather than going home and being stressed out or having a mad client on your hands.
Yeah. You want to work on them, and then later they become a problem.
Tanya's getting a lot of experience with this.
Yes.
Because the second anytime, literally somebody calls, I'm like, all right, they're asking a billion questions. They're going to make me, have to tell them this and this and this. And look, and I'm old. So I'm like, I don't want to deal with them anymore. So I literally am like, Tanya be a good fit for this.
Yeah.
Tanya, you're up.
I know. I also don't mind talking to people. I enjoy talking to people, whether it has to be hard or easy. And
I don't like the hard conversations. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
If you're going to 20 question me, I don't want to do it anymore. I never thought I would get to that point, but I'm just
well, it's one thing to ask questions.
You come to me for a reason, like you said, right?
Yeah. They ask you questions, though, but then you do answer it, and then when you're not trying to take it in and ask it another way and try to be almost sly about it, that's where the frustration comes.
You're the professional. I'm like, you don't really know, and now you're trying, and I just told you, and now you're asking a different way, expecting a different answer.
Yeah.
And what's wild is I feel like sometimes they have, a lot of the time, they have existing work on their face, and they're like, but this is uneven and this and that, and oh, this one's longer, but I don't want that one anymore. And it's like, well, then your only option is removal. That's just my straightforward answer. But then they're like, well, not happy with that. I'm like, well, what did you expect to happen in today's session?
So maybe you should start asking them.
I don't know. My quote lately is, I'm not a magician.
I'm not a magician.
I'm not a magician.
Literally.
Yeah. Do you think, Tania, you always had your voice since you started permanent makeup, or did you learn that over time?
Definitely over time. But I think in general, I mean, sometimes it is nerve-wracking, but in general, I feel like I don't have a problem saying with what I want to say.
Yeah.
But I guess finding the right way to say it to the client.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't want to say, well, right, today I had, a lady had, I wouldn't say the word dark eyebrows, but whatever. They were a certain shade.
Ashy.
And she was like, they were ashy,
light gray.
And she was like, I want them light brown. Impossible. I told her straight up, that's impossible. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. If something's an impossibility, no. Yeah. I'm not doing that. And I feel like sometimes maybe someone will be like, we'll try to kind of work with them, and then they let the client kind of persuade them into doing something that you shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And so I have no problem telling them no. I think there's no amount of money in the world worth my piece.
Yeah, because if they don't get the results they want, then that falls back on you as an artist, and now you're in a pickle.
And now you're dealing with them for the rest of your life because you tattooed them. So if you're ever in a situation,
I would rather
you don't
just
think
not
you can make them
happy.
just don't tattoo them, right? It's like if you ever think that client's going to be, I don't want to say a nightmare, but you get those ones where you're just your gut's telling you, hey, this isn't, I can't make this person happy, then don't do it. The money doesn't matter. Because once you tattoo that person, you're going to be dealing with them the rest of your freaking life.
I feel like it's honestly every day it's gotten easier. Because every day I learn a little more and more, and I'm like, no, you're not going to, no.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. It comes with experience and time for sure.
It took me a really long time.
Yeah, I'm over here sweating.
It took me at least 5 years. Yeah. I still struggle with it, but now I don't. I would say the delivery with me is a little harsher. A lot harsher. Yeah, literally, because now these days I'm like, I don't know what it is, because it went from me not having a voice to over explaining to now back to okay, now I have a voice, but now it's very blunt and I'm just telling you exactly how it is. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, you need to, like, be a little nicer. But it's not, I'm not trying to be mean, but you're also not going to convince me, like, anymore. I'm just like, I'm not here to be like, can you put hair strokes over this solid gray ass eyebrow? No, it's not going to work, and here is why. Yeah. Then if you keep asking me questions, the answer is no, and I'm not tattooing you, and there's the door. But I need to, like, slow it down just a little bit.
Yeah, I think some people, too, like, don't want to listen.
Yeah.
Like, they just want to just talk, but not, like, actually listen and understand what you're saying. Because they think they're right. Yeah. And at that point, you can't argue. Or if somebody's set in their mind, it doesn't matter what you say. You could bring facts, statistics, you could bring research. It doesn't matter, because whatever they're set in their mind, that's it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because they see it, like, I'm over here just, like, thinking, I'm like, do you think it's because they see other, like, stuff online, or do you think that maybe they don't understand? Like, do they not understand?
No, I think it's an online thing, because a lot of people go, well, I want this. Like, how many times they bring a photo from your IG, like, I want this, and you go, well, your eye shape, you don't have room. Well, but why? Though you did it on this person, and you're having to even go further in depth.
Like, this is why, and then they still don't get it. Yeah, but how? Yeah, it's like making them understand, like, the why, I guess. But yeah, I don't know how else when you literally are, like, drawing it, and it's like at some point, and I think there's something to, like, letting the artist be the artist. Yeah, because it's like,
and I don't know if there's this thing that, like, permanent makeup, it's not one size fits all. No, you know, you have to adjust per client, and I think they're just not used to that. You know, they think, well, you're doing on this person, this person, this person. Well, this person had this, and they were able to get it.
Well, and I have a thought too. It's like, where is the differentiating factor? What is the differentiating factor? No, but, like, seriously, between body tattoo and permanent makeup, you're not going to go to a black and gray artist and ask for color.
Yeah,
exactly.
Traditional. It's like, you picked that artist for a reason, so why are you trying to convince that artist to do otherwise?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are we different? Like, it should be the same exact thing. It's like in permanent makeup, we all specialize in something. We're all better at something. Like, we may do a bunch of things, like, good or well, but we're all known for something. Yeah. So it's like, you don't try to convince that person to do otherwise when that's what their style is.
Exactly.
It's weird.
In the beginning, do you think you had people that talked you into doing things?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have brows to this day. Not very many. I have at least, right off the top of my head, I can think of 3 brows to this day that I never should have done.
And they convince you to do something?
Yes.
Or,
that they convinced me to do something. Harsh, square, straight up and down on the fronts, barely any space in the middle. Yes, multiple, like, at least 3 times.
Did they come back hating it, though,
nope.
after the fact?
They still love it, but still I can't stand even looking at it.
As an artist, you're like, I don't, I get you.
And then with that, too, it's like we run into, because now that person's running around, it's like, who did your eyebrows?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, shit, don't tell anybody I did those. Like, and it's like, so you have to kind of think there's that fine line, not just money, but also, you know, your name is on that work, too. So it's like, these days, that's why I probably say no a lot more, because I'm like, nah. I'm not going to say I did that.
That's true.
I think when it comes to clients, I don't have a problem. But I think when it comes, like, when we have serious talks or, like, trying to talk to, like, you know, your coworkers and stuff, you never want to hurt anyone's feelings. I think that's more hard.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Amber's like,
because it's like, this one don't ever even talk. I love that she's bringing this up right now. Like, because you never even talk. I'm like, Tanya, in general, like, Tanya, I didn't know you were feeling a type of way. Fucking say something.
Well, because you know, I have no problem saying, like, you know, my initial, like, well, but then sometimes I think, and I'm just like, am I really overthinking? Yeah. I was like, maybe I'm just tripping. And then I just go back and just, like, let it marinate.
Sasha's really gotten her voice lately.
Yeah.
She tells me what's up sometimes.
I know, I like it.
No, but, like, this morning I think she said something and I was like, I appreciate that, because I do, like, because my mind goes and goes and goes too, and I'm 1,000 different directions all the time. And she's like, bro, stop, relax. You are doing shit. We're doing shit. There's just the 2 of us. And we're in it, like, it's a long game that we're playing right now. You're building, you're creating, we're doing this. Like, we just did this, I just did this. And I'm like, oh, fuck, like, like, that actually was very helpful. Like, I appreciate stuff like that. Like, stop and put me in my place so I can, because otherwise, you know?
Yeah. I think I came from a more motivational side, because you work every day, Amber. You gotta pat yourself on the back a little bit.
Yeah, that's life. That's life we chose.
It's also easy to communicate when you feel comfortable with people.
Yeah.
I see, that's the funny thing. I think I'm better at communicating with people I know, but then when it comes to strangers, I kind of like tighten up and like, you know, I'm not very confrontational with strangers, but with my people, I'm like, I for some reason just know how to say it to where it's like I'm not being an asshole almost, you know what I mean? Like,
because you never know how people are going to take it.
Yeah, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Sometimes
like,
with the people close to me, I'm completely unfiltered though, so you guys be careful.
Yeah, which is okay.
Sometimes I'm like, blah, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't mean to say it that way, but it's like how I would talk to Victor.
Yeah.
He would say something, what the fuck did you just say? Like, but in like my mom too, it's like like with people that are the closest to you, I think that they see like just completely unfiltered. It's like whatever that thought is. Like sometimes as I'm saying things, I'm like, okay, I've said it 4 times in my head. I just want to make sure that this isn't saying right, but sometimes I don't have energy for that either.
Well, I appreciate the upfrontness. Rather know it all right than being sugar-coated.
Same.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, me too. For the when it comes to clients,
yeah,
because I don't know, I just feel like I'm never gonna see you again, or we're gonna be good friends. Literally today, all of the clients I've ever had to be mean with, like now are besties.
Yeah,
Tania is 100% either we're either getting along or we're not, and you're leaving. I don't need your money.
Yeah. That's
good.
It. Because that's really one or the other.
Literally.
Yeah. And I always, in my mind too, I'm like, when somebody starts saying too much things, like I'm like, no, I don't want to tattoo you because you're just not happy with yourself. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not happy with yourself. You think, and it's really sad how many people we see, like I can tell when someone's not happy with themselves. They call themselves ugly. They point out like the things on their face. Like I'm like, what do you think about this eyebrow? Like, and they start like pointing out all these things in their face, and I'm like, I'm not even looking. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I communicate that with my clients too, because I need to make sure you're in a right state of mind, because if you're not, I don't want to tattoo you either.
Because it's super
important.
Nothing you can do will make them happy.
No, you're going to like them now, and then, they're going to heal out, or tomorrow you're going to be like, oh my God, I hate these eyebrows. So I think that's where communication comes in a lot too. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to know everything now. Like, we have a whole chit chat session before I even like numb you up, because I'm going to catch you say something like, oh wait, what? You got Botox? When?
Yeah.
Wait, or I was like, wait, you did what? Yeah. I'm like, wait, you're going swimming tomorrow?
You're in your magnifying mirror? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm in your today. Like, I was like, get off that. No.
Don't get
like,
stop. In the magnifying mirror.
And I told her, my client today, I was like, if you're expecting perfection, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And you're making me nervous. And I think that is scary to hear from your artist, but also too, like, your vibe is gonna set my vibe. Like, if you're coming in here very uncomfortable and like, all over the place, that makes me uncomfortable. But then we talked and we were fine, and literally we're dancing and having a good time, and everything was fine. And it all just came down to communication, because if we just went back in that room and we were just quiet and just, I don't know what she's thinking, she doesn't know what I'm thinking. And it was just a good and if you don't like what I have to say, that's fine. Take money, go find somebody else. It's I'd rather not have your money than every single day have to think about you, or then you go put a bad review
every single day,
and then you're calling Sasha and you're calling Amber and you're leaving reviews, and some people pop up in the studio, and that'd be scary to have somebody like that. I mean, not her in particular, but it's someone who's not happy, like pop up at the studio. Like, that's scary.
Definitely. So like, what's your guys' advice? At what point do you know to cancel a client, and how do you go about it?
I think if it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's like a vibe.
How long do you let it go on for it to just like, there's a certain point they're just like, yeah, this is not going to work out?
I'll know in like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought today was going to be one of those.
I was kind of worried too that was going to happen.
I thought today I was going to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
What's so weird is I text, and remember I was like, how's Tania with her? How's the client going?
I literally had to text out, and I was like, Amber's going to be here in 30 minutes. We'll just talk about it. And she literally texted me. It's so weird.
Like, how's this? Well, just because I had talked to her on the phone, and I knew she was asking a lot of questions, and I had a little thought, and I was like, she's going to be pushing Tania a little bit. Like, I had a little thought, but I was like, but they'll get through it. Just got to talk through it. Like, and they're, whatever, and Tania will handle it. Like, that's what I felt. And so I was like, let me just check to see how that's going, because I saw it was her on the schedule. That's why I was
I'm honestly thankful to that, because I could work for somebody who doesn't like that. Like, somebody, I could have freaking been fired for other people don't like that.
Yeah.
I feel like,
well, you gotta work at a studio that's like, you have to tattoo everybody that walks in this door, like, no matter what. Like, oh my God, it has such bad anxiety.
So I'm glad that I work for somebody that, you know, if I were to tell Amber like, hey, this happened, I'm pretty sure she would have my back.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Unless if you don't want to deal with it, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, if you don't want to deal with it, I definitely don't want to deal with it. So.
Yeah. So I'm glad.
More patient than she is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm glad that I do work under Amber and she lets us have like our opinions in her voice. And I know if I was like, hey, this lady's giving me a really bad vibe, I don't want to do it. And that's just it. I don't have to give Amber any. I don't feel
my
it.
response. Yeah. Okay, cool. Will you tell her? Or do I have to go do it? Which one of us is doing this right now? Because I really don't want to. Can you handle it? Because all right.
And if you're at a place where you don't have that freedom, then that's probably not the right place.
Yeah,
because you're going to get pushed into doing things that you don't want to do. And I just think if you feel that you shouldn't do it, then you probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Half of being an artist is finding your voice.
Yeah.
Literally. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Inspired by Miss Amber Red and Tanya.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.